Good morning, everyone, and welcome to day 3 of the National Charter Schools Conference and our Google sessions. We are so happy to have you here, and I'm apologizing. I'm doing what most of us are doing now, toggling between different screens and doing things this morning. So we're just really thrilled you're able to join us today. While we're getting started, if you want to drop in the chat where you're coming from today, or what school district you represent, what role you play in this community of education, please let us know. We'd love to hear from you. My name is Jennifer Vaden-Barth, and I'm the Outreach Conference and Events Lead for a team at Google that works on education. We're called NGDU, Engineering Education, and we're really proud. This is our 3rd year being involved with the National Charter Schools Conference, and I'm really excited this year because we are announcing a full partnership, not just the conference sponsorship, but we're doing some other events with the National Alliance of Public Charter Schools. So we're super excited to be here this year, and we couldn't think that this would be more important than to share one of our most important programs before 2020, but definitely afterwards. So without further ado, I also want to introduce my colleague, excuse me, Erin Spalding, who's here with us this morning. And Erin and I are going to be taking you through not only what applied digital skills is, but why we think it's important for career readiness, and of course addressing the equity gaps that have only been exacerbated by the pandemic in the last year. So I want to take a moment and ask Erin to introduce herself.
Thanks, Jennifer. Hi, everyone. My name is Erin Spalding, and I'm a program manager and instructional designer on a team within NGDU called Learning Lab. And we design and create a range of curriculum primarily focused on digital skills and career exploration. And so I'm joining you this morning from New York and very excited to walk you through applied digital skills.
Awesome. Thank you so much. All right, I see a couple of folks popping in. So good morning, and I apologize out here in LA. Apparently I've got a frog in my throat this morning, so I'll try to keep that in a minute. Let's jump quickly and look at what our slides are going to look like for today, or in our agenda actually. And we're going to be starting with, of course, what career readiness and equity gaps look like within this framework, and then we're going to jump into the actual curriculum itself, and then we'll do Q&A. However, I want to emphasize, please drop your questions in the chat or the Q&A, but I'm focusing on chat. We have Rob actually helping us on the back end, who will be supporting from the Q&A tab as well. So just let us know your questions and we'll get through them as soon as possible. All right, so what is applied digital skills? Well, it's Google's solution or attempt to solve some of the digital literacy issues that we've seen popping up. We started in 2017 looking at this in earnest, and so we want to share with you what we've done to date and where we're going next, and what we think is really important with that. We've been looking at the workplace, and we've been discovering that regardless of what career you're going into, and actually not just a workplace, but even in our personal lives, digital skills are required, whether it's shopping or navigating your smartphone or whatever you need to do to stay in touch. You know, we believe that everyone needs those digital skills and deserves those skills and the access to tools and training. So while we want the end user to have them, we know that begins with supporting educators like yourselves and equipping you with those tools and lessons that can help set your students up for success and looking for the jobs of not just today, but the jobs of tomorrow. And they are definitely in every community. You know, we focus on skills like communication, collaboration, creativity, and critical thinking, or what we're calling the 4 C's, and I'm sure you know those as well. And it's increasingly important that we try to exercise those in a digital environment. So that's what we've tried to bake into applied digital skills, and we hope that you'll see that we've adapted lessons that can not only go into your career, but also into your daily lives and help your communities. We want to help communities grow and stay connected. With applied digital skills, we've actually brought it down to video-based tutorials, and then you build out projects in the lessons that come from our workspace, which is, for those of you that are Google schools, you might know Word docs, spreadsheets, slides, forms, that type of thing. So that's our workspace, but this can adapt to other workspaces as well. If you're a Microsoft school or something like that, those things can be there. It's just intuitively we're using it in that way. We all also, we do integrate with Google Classroom. We'll talk about that a little bit more when we dive into the curriculum with Erin. But I think the overarching theme is that this is a free, video-based online curriculum that can prepare learners at really any age. And you'll see that where we're starting with elementary and actually can go up to adult learners. And I think that's really important to talk about, because we can talk about cross-generational learning. And I know many communities have that space, and with students being at home and online with caretakers and guardians at home, that's really important. So we're here to do that. We'll talk about how the curriculum is kind of split into two parts, be it K-12 students or adult learners, and we can focus on things like that. Want to dive into a little bit more, though, and look at what it means with regards to career readiness. And for that, I'm going to turn it over to Erin for a minute.
All right, thanks. So we know that the job market is changing. It's something that we see and we feel every day, and it's something that has only increased due to the pandemic and its effect on the workplace. And the pace of change is only expected to continue to increase. And so that's why it's increasingly important that we prepare students for success in the job market. And we know from talking with educators that this is something that can be a challenge, especially considering that, let's see here, that about 1/3 of jobs in the future are going to require skills that aren't even taught today. And so how do you teach those skills? And it's something from speaking with students that we hear they feel as well. And you can see the percentage here that, about half of students feel that what they're learning in the classroom isn't preparing them for the future. And another fact that I read and I found really startling, that thinking about the future and an increase in automation of jobs, that about 47% of jobs might be lost due to automation in the coming decades, and that's going to unequally affect people of color. And so in that regard, we feel, it's very important that we focus a lot of our efforts on how do we prepare students for this very uncertain, changing future.
Yeah, and when we're looking at that, we are taking a very concerted effort towards people of color, and particularly Black communities. And it is not lost on any of us that came out of a lot of the events of 2020. And when we step back and look at the overall mission of Google, for those of you that may not know, it is to organize the world's information and make it universally accessible and useful. And it sounds really broad and it's ambitious. It always has been. But the tech users mission, which is part of our organization that Applied Digital Skills fits into at Google, we're particularly aiming to ensure that historically marginalized groups have digital literacy skills that they need to participate in society and participate effectively, and also to become that education equalizer that can allow them economic growth and have that space in their community in a way that they can be productive members of society and also help grow the community. These skills are difficult to acquire sometimes for people of color. We recognize this only because they are limited in opportunity, awareness, time, motivation, cultural capital, et cetera. And Google wants to try to solve that, or at least take a stab at it and lead and inspire other corporations and private sector companies to come in and say, hey, we need to all kind of uplift a community that has been forgotten or has been intentionally ignored in this way. So we are doubling down on our efforts. I think I could safely say we thought we were doing a good job in helping historically marginalized groups, but after the events of 2020 and the social justice events that we saw unfold, we realized we weren't doing near enough. And that's why this is so important to us. And that's why we're making such a pointed effort. And with that, it began with one of 3 keyword blogs. And I say the keyword because that's our official Google blog post. Our not our founder, but our CEO, Sundar Pichai, actually posted right after George Floyd's death in 2020 in June, what Google was committed to do to address racial equity, injustice, and what we wanted to do to try to help that. I've highlighted that a little bit here, but the things that are important for you all to understand is that from the education perspective, we committed to funding and reaching hundreds of thousands of students and 7,000 teachers to serve those students in order to provide digital skills and education resources that can help young people and help support teachers who are teaching young people in this way. So that's one thing we've done. We actually had a follow-up blog that I didn't post here, but we can share it out later if you're interested, that we talked about in October that said, hey, here's how we're doing with our equity efforts. One thing I'm really proud about, though, is our teammate, Tori Bates, who we're here representing on her behalf because she's off celebrating a big birthday over this last week. But Tori actually drove a lot of the content changes that we took with Applied Digital Skills. As I mentioned earlier, Applied Digital Skills has been out for a few years, but we started looking after 2020's summer events. What could we do to make it more culturally responsive, and what could we do to really include communities who may not feel like they're being seen? And Tori wrote this great blog after we created relative content, and I loved this so much because it was during Black History Month that we launched this, and we featured a Black female teacher, which we thought was really important, not just Black people, but Black women, to talk about not only what their challenges are like and what communities are like for Black people, but how we could use digital skills to keep them together in this time. And Tori and the team created this great content for staying connected, looking for your family history and documenting that in such a way. So it was a way to kind of build in some skills, but you were really doing something more important in the work. And so I just encourage you to read that. This is just one of a few ways we've done this. When we dive into the content, you'll see that we've created Juneteenth content and other type lessons. So we're looking at broader, more important lessons, but we're just using the tools of digital skills underneath there with Applied Digital Skills to be able to teach those lessons. I'm going to hand it over to Erin now. She's the expert teacher from the Google world here, and I would love for her to share with you more about what Applied Digital Skills looks like.
Great, thank you. So what you see here is some images from the Applied Digital Skills homepage. So I hope you all check that out. And as Jen was mentioning, at Google, we really believe that all students should have an opportunity to meaningfully engage with technical skills of the future. And this is really going to be required for success in any career, in any field. And in addition to some of the hard technical skills, there's also some of the softer skills like communication, collaboration, creativity, and critical thinking that are also very important that we've integrated into each of these lessons. And these are skills that will never be replaced, that will always be needed. And we believe that this is increasingly important as we encourage students to exercise these skills in a digital environment. Next slide. So each of our applied digital skills lessons brings together several different things. So in each lesson, we bring together digital skills such as document formatting, website publishing, data visualization, and also practical life skills such as organization, research, group decision making, to develop unique projects using Google tools that you see across the bottom of the screen. So for example, students in a lesson may learn about spreadsheets while using Google Sheets, while also creating a household or an office budget. And each of our lessons are project-based, meaning that in the process of learning these skills, students are solving a problem and creating some type of project or artifact. So in this case, students are learning these new skills, and they're going to come out of the lesson with a real project like an office budget. Next slide. So here's an example of a current lesson on applied digital skills. It's called Research Career Paths. And for each lesson, you can see that we list the estimated time to complete the lesson. And this is a combination of the time required to watch the videos that provide the instruction in the lesson, and also the time for students to complete the project. And you see that everything is offered as a range, because when you dig into the lessons, you'll see that the lessons have a sort of core required part, and then there's also lots of extensions. So students who are inspired or curious about something can really take it as far as they want, as far as their curiosity will take them. And then click. And so here, you can see that each lesson is made up of several short videos that are each only about 1 to 3 minutes long. And at the end of each video are specific directions for a part of the project that students should complete. So each video provides step-by-step instructions to scaffold the activity and kind of breaks down all of the different parts of the project into these sort of bite-sized pieces. So students watch a short video, complete part of their project, watch the next short video, and then complete the next part of their project. And click one more time. And so here you can see an example of what a lesson looks like. So in the top left, you can see we have a video host who is providing the instruction. And then you can see an example of a project that students complete in a lesson. So in this case, they're researching career paths, and they're creating a spreadsheet to organize their information. Great. Next slide. So the Applied Digital Skills program is free and can be used by anyone at all without creating an account. However, if you do create an account, there are certain features that become available to you. And one of these features is the teacher dashboard. And so on the teacher dashboard, you can assign digital skills lessons to students. You can also import class lists from Google Classroom. And from the dashboard, you can track student progress. So you can view who submitted a project and who hasn't, and you can also view results of quizzes that accompany each of the lessons. So we encourage you to check out the site and create a teacher account. Next slide. And additionally, there are a number of teacher resources that are available. So each lesson has a lesson plan that contains implementation tips, discussion questions to go deeper on particular topics. Plus, each lesson has a rubric to score the student project. On the website, you'll also find videos to guide you as you begin to use the program in the classroom, and also teacher spotlights that highlight how teachers of different subject areas and grades are using the program. Then there are also some things like certificates that you can print and award to students when they've finished a lesson, and also a classroom poster that you can print and hang in your classroom to generate student interest. And then finally, the website has a help center with lots of information in case you have any questions while you're using the program. And there's even a place where you can submit questions that come directly to us on the team that creates the program, so that we can guide you and support you with any sort of issues that might come up. And we're also happy to take recommendations about new things you'd like to see in the program. Next slide. So taking a closer look inside the curriculum, there are currently over 150 lessons on the site, and we're working on a few different features to help you find the right lesson to start with and the right lesson to continue to use to meet your students' needs. And currently the way that you can sort of filter through these different lessons is through a filter feature on the left-hand side, where you can search by age, by digital tool, by topic, and then also by keyword. And as Jen mentioned, we have lessons that are specifically designed for middle school, for high school, and also for adult learners. So we encourage you to check this out. And while you might be looking for lessons for your students, as Jen mentioned, it's also a great opportunity to maybe think of lessons that parents in your community might be interested in. And so here is an example of some lessons that are designed specifically to teach some skills related to career readiness. So looking through the lessons here, we have some lessons about how to search for a part-time job or a summer job. We looked a little earlier at the lesson to research career paths. We also have lessons on creating a resume. So you can see they're very tangible, real life topics that we think are very important for students to learn and that students will be interested in learning. Next slide. And so here is the web address that we would love for you to use to check out our website. And with that, I think I'll turn it back over to Jen, and hopefully we can have a great Q&A discussion now.
Yeah, thank you so much. I know we've gone through that pretty quickly. I'm going to leave this slide up just for your few minutes, but we are going to transition over to Q&A. For those of us who are here with us live, I would love for you to put a 1 in the chat, just the number 1, if you use any type of digital skills as part of the tools when you are teaching in the classroom. Doesn't have to be applied digital skills. If you don't use any, I would love to have a 2 in the chat, just to give us an idea there. And then we'll step it up a little bit. If you do or have any familiarity with applied digital skills, whether you use it, heard about it, what have you, drop a 3 into the chat. So that would be super helpful. Amazing. For those that have dropped a 1 in, come back and drop a 3 in. Maybe I should have said you could do like a 1-3 combo if you not only use digital skills, but use applied digital skills. That's amazing. We love knowing, and I can't believe after the pandemic year, we wouldn't have that, but that is really terrific. As we know, our students are the digital natives, lots of us, at least as parents. It is quiet. You're not wrong. But that's amazing. We do have a few folks that have some experience with applied digital skills. So that is great. I see. Yeah, I think it might just be you, because I think we do have volume there from folks. I can hear Aaron. So we'll try to help out there a little bit. You might want to try an accessibility feature if you're having issues. At any rate, we will be on demand. Yes, we will put the website back in the chat. Lisa Cutshall, I think you're on here supporting. If you could put our link back in there, that would be really helpful. So I wanted to also ask and see if we could get any questions from you all. What would be helpful to know at this point regarding applied digital skills? I mean, we look at it in lots of different ways. I've brainstormed using, how to build a resume, but using it in history class, using our if-then adventure stories in language arts or something like that, or in even ELA, curriculum and things of that nature. But if we can provide any questions around that, any questions around the teacher dashboard, if you want a little walkthrough or something that's a little bit more of a deep dive, we did do a 20-minute demo the other day. Um, and I think that is on demand, but we do have our team in the booth today at the Google booth. Oh, while I'm thinking about that, over at the Google booth, we also have a getting started guide that's K-12 focused. So you can download that as a PDF and take it. In addition, we have a guardian guide. So you could take both of them with you and hand that over to those who are supporting students at home. So let's see. We have a couple questions here. Would this be adequate to use as a full career curriculum for middle school or just as a supplement? Erin, I'd love your thoughts here. Lisa Cutchall, you might be able to advise here as well. Lisa is one of our partners that helps do professional development for us. She and Sherry Gick are here. There you go. There is enough to fill the semester as far as the lesson plans. With over 150 lessons, it's truly possible. Erin, I do know we have some state standards that we've mapped to as well. Am I correct?
We do, yes, and those aren't available on the site, but if you're interested in particular alignment with your state standards, that's something that you can submit a request to us, and we will get that to you. And also, yeah, I wanted to add that while the site doesn't currently have a type of scope and sequence, there definitely is a lot of material there. So while we don't sort of have the framework for a semester-long course, there definitely is the curriculum there if you have particular elements that you want to be reaching.
And we also will have the link here's the link one more time. It's really easy though, just in case. It's g.co applied digital skills /NC g.co / applied digital skills / NCSC 21. I'll throw it in there again. A couple of other questions that I think are really important to address, and gosh, it's so hard to see who mentioned it because the names are kind of faint. But one question was, can they do this on a mobile device versus a laptop? Obviously, a lot of students are working off of smartphones right now. I know I heard an alarming statistic last summer that Hispanic families in the U.S., only 40% have a laptop in the home. And so we know that that's a big challenge, and whether it's tablets or smartphones, that's an issue. So Erin, do you want to speak to that accessibility?
Sure. Yeah. So it's something that we are aware of and that we're looking to address in a better way. Currently, everything is accessible via a mobile device, so students are able to watch the videos, and or at least many of the Google tools have an app that students can download on their phone and complete the activities that way. It is a little trickier using some of the tools on a phone versus a tablet or a laptop, and so that's something that we're looking into. How can we be better designing lessons for a mobile environment? But it is possible.
Yeah, and I'll say, while that's a challenge, I work off of my phone at times when I'm, on the go and I'm editing Word docs or, using dictation and creating emails and doing things like that. So, and even spreadsheets, which is a little trickier, sometimes slides as well. Mm-hmm. So it's a great experience, for them. As we know, it's a challenge, but driving them to that, spending a little bit extra time, maybe seeing what that looks like for them as an experience, but it is possible to do certain things. You might want to take it a little slower, maybe not take one of the more ambitious lessons when you're doing that, but it's a great way to start, especially for research or something like that, right? It could be something that's really easy to use. Thank you so much for asking about the ability to have this curriculum accessible when you're in rural areas with unreliable connectivity. And yes, we can. You can download the videos to watch offline, and you can obviously do the workspace offline as well. So hopefully that's helpful to you. If we need to walk you through that a little bit more, we can. Erin, I don't know if you want to speak to how you all have addressed that for rural areas, because we know that that's a pain point.
Yes. So within each lesson, there's a tab that says teacher resources. And when you click on that, there is a direct link to download all of the videos. So that's definitely a possibility. And also, we have been adjusting the sort of size of the videos, and so that they should load with a sort of reasonable internet. They should load and play. So hopefully that is a help too, but also definitely like downloading the videos as a backup is always a great idea.
Thank you, Lisa, for saying that. So as I understand it, and I was going to ask this question, I believe if teachers have Google Classroom or some other type of LMS platform, they can download and upload those lessons that is essentially offline, but then students have access to in that way. Am I understanding that correctly, Erin?
Yes, that's right.
Amazing. Great. Any other questions that we can provide? I want to be mindful of time this morning. I know we have about 15 minutes, but we would love to give you all time to go check out something you haven't seen yet. We're here. We'll stay on for the last 15 minutes. While we're talking, we keep talking about career readiness, and lots of times applied digital skills and in our curriculum leads to other content that Google is creating for students, particularly when we're looking at high school students and moving on into some type of secondary education, but maybe it's not a 4-year college. Maybe it's a 2-year community college. Maybe it's an apprenticeship or something like that. Maybe it's a boot camp, depending on what they want to do. And so we really want to emphasize that this kind of gives that foundation to go in a lot of different career choices. Doesn't have to be the tech industry, obviously. It could be in a number of different industries, including the arts, sports, what have you. We've got so much going on with those demands and with any type of business in any local community. And we also have programs that are, pushing towards what we're calling Google Career Certificates. We haven't featured it a lot here because we're here with the K-12 space, but Google Career Certificates, if you're interested in that is for students 16 and older. Please reach out to me. I'll share that with you. That is a paid curriculum, but it is really scaffolded out and gives students something that they can focus on in project management, IT support, data analysis, UX design, and web app development. So if you have students that are interested in that, if you have teachers or your own coursework that you've got an interest in and you want to share that out, please reach out to us because we'd love to share and get that to you. We can also talk about our burgeoning apprenticeships program that has been in Europe for a while in our European offices, but is coming to the US this year. We are in specific locations, but we'd love to share that with you. And then also a program that kind of branches into our computer science education curriculum, which we feel like is the next stepping stone. Coding is so important for lots of different career choices, and it's the natural stepping stone after digital skills competencies have been met. And so if you're interested in that, we'd love to share that with you more. We've got a couple of great light touch programs. Grasshopper is one of them. It can be done on a mobile phone. It's fully in Spanish or English. And that reminds me, I'll go back to localization in just a second because I think that's going to be really important. But we have a lot of other resources, bottom line. So if you're interested in those things, please reach out to us. We're happy to share those things with you. Erin, languages. Let's talk about that a minute. So what accessibility do we have for these lessons in other languages like Spanish? Because we know a lot of charter schools have Hispanic populations in attendance.
Yeah, great question. So something I'm really excited to announce is that we are going to be this summer loading a bunch of Spanish lessons on to the site. So they're actually the same lessons that we have in English, but now we have Spanish versions of them. So in the past, students were able to, through sort of closed captioning, be able to view the lessons in different languages, but now we're actually going to have the audio in Spanish. So very excited about that.
And just to that end, we're here are the resources again. If anybody, we also have presentation decks. If you want to take this curriculum back and present it to your district or to your to your fellow colleagues, we're happy to provide presentation decks that you can customize and do that. But regardless, we want to give you one more time. We've posted the link in the chat again, but here's the link here and our resources. We'll also attach these slides to this presentation, so you'll have this slide deck here. We want to focus on also our help center, which is really such a robust, great way to show any question you might have. And if it's not there, the topics that aren't there, there's a way to contact the team directly and send an email to provide feedback, to provide other suggestions that you might have. I also want to point out we are constantly looking for ways to spotlight how you all are championing in the classroom, because we do appreciate teachers so much, and we celebrate and want to drive the respect towards the work that you do. It's not done enough. Although I do think after the pandemic this year, the entire world has said, wow, we did not appreciate teachers enough. So if we can spotlight a story and you're willing to share the work that you're doing, the challenges and the triumphs that you've had, whether it's using digital skills and technical skills or that type of thing, we'd love to be able to spotlight that. And you can reach out to the team via the Help Center in that way. So we're happy to do that. And then finally, you have my email address. I am the partner manager that is for the National Alliance of Public Charter Schools. And I am available if ever you want to reach out with any questions. If we can't address it in some way, we'll try to find someone who can and get you connected in the way that supports you. So we want to let you know we're here for you in those ways. Any final questions? Well, this has been so great. We just can't thank you all enough, and we hope you all have enjoyed. What a fabulous conference that's been put on for the last 2.5 days. If you haven't seen our content, I know there were so many sessions. I've got a list of things I'm going to go back and watch myself. Please take the time to check that out and share with others. Erin, any final thoughts?
Just similarly, thank you all so much for attending and joining us today. And I just really want to echo what Jen shared about reaching out to us and letting us know how it goes as you start to use it. And just, again, if you ever have ideas for things that we could be doing better or things that we could be doing differently, please let us know. And additionally, when you check out our website, there is a place in the Help Center where you can sign up to be part of a teacher reference group. So that's a group that we turn to as we're thinking of new lesson ideas or wanting to pilot a new idea. So I would encourage you to go there and sign up for that if you're interested in giving us feedback along the way.
Yeah, I'm so glad you brought that up, Erin, because, and we don't say it enough, like Google doesn't have the answers all the time. And we've really been leading with that grace going forward, especially with charter schools, with communities of color that we just don't know. We are building out our diversity within our company and within our teams, but we are looking to you all to help guide us. We had a session the other day, and the goals for the session were listen, and learn from our perspective. And so we do love hearing from you. So please do not be shy about using that access point and really, providing us with feedback, because you all make us better, and we're here to support and serve you, support the ecosystem. If our tools are part of the process, great, but it's really important that the ecosystem is there first, and that you have a friend with Google and a support system there. I'll also highlight, Erin, can they find, if they want to sign up for updates, like when the Spanish lessons come out or any new feature updates that come out, how can they find that on the website? Is that through the Help Center as well?
We do post updates in the Help Center, but also if you sign up and create a teacher account, you'll automatically be put into our email base, and we send out emails a couple times a month. And you can definitely let us know if we're sending them to you too frequently, but I would really encourage you to do that because we do send out a lot of our updates via emails to teachers who are in that database.
Yeah, we know email fatigue. So we appreciate if you want to opt out, but that's a great way to, if this is something you really feel passionate about and think that it can help your students and your classroom support, we would encourage you to do that. Well, with that, we're going to say thank you. First of all, we hope you enjoyed the rest of the conference, and then we hope you take a break. We hope that you get the well-deserved summer break that you all need, and that we all come back refreshed in the fall. You'll be hearing more from us. This is not the last time you're going to hear from Google or Applied Digital Skills. So thank you so much. Have a great rest of the conference, and we'll see you soon.